But do you think that all this condolence, of course, he had to do it, and he had his own reasons why Modi went and paid the condolence. But do you think that this was also a kind of a put up show, before the cameras as well? Because you knew that, the entire focus today, the world's focus is on Manmohan Singh. And therefore, if he doesn't go, then, how will people, conclude about him? So was that a reason? So basically, his condolence and Modi's tribute were a show for camera.
You're asking me whether Mr. Modi was doing this for the public, or whether he felt anything. The answer is he was doing it for the public. But in fairness to him, and I try to be fair, although I don't like his regime at all. The thing is, in fairness to him, it must be said that he couldn't do otherwise. He couldn't do otherwise as Prime Minister. He had a duty to do this, and he performed it. It doesn't mean that he felt there was any change, or there was any remorse, or that there was any second thoughts, or that he's learned anything for that matter from Dr. Manmohan Singh. He has not. He's always been supremely sure that he knows that he's doing the right thing for him, and therefore automatically for the country and for Hinduism.
But do you ever see a possibility of Modi trying to copy or ape at Manmohan Singh in any manner, any of his ideals, any of his principles? Do you think Modi can really follow the footsteps of Prime Minister Manmohan Singh in any way?
Well, no. The short answer is no. And the long answer is that he doesn't need to. Dr. Manmohan Singh accomplished the reforms. The reforms, he started them very gradually in 1993 with that first budget that he presented. I think the second. The first was an emergency budget in July. The first main budget that he presented in February 28th, 1993. That was where he began the reform process. And the reform process from that point on took a life of its own. But it was gradual. That is why there was no shock. See, there was an alternative theory about how to do economic reforms. It was called shock therapy. Remove all controls immediately and the market will spring up automatically. Russia tried that and crashed very badly. China and India did not. And we both prospered from the reforms. And that was Dr. Manmohan Singh took 10 years. In fact, it was Vajpayee who completed the reforms of Manmohan Singh when he finally eliminated the reservation of about something like 400 industries for this, which were reserved for the small scale sector. Now there are very few left of that kind. And this process, because it took 10 years, there were no adverse shocks. People had time to adjust. Like the small scale industry, we had an inefficient small scale industry that was meeting all needs. They gradually understood that they could only survive by becoming suppliers of ancillaries and parts to larger companies. And that if they would be, in fact, more secure if they did that. Those who understood this have survived very well. A few of the originally small-scale industry, like Hero Motors and so on, Hero Cycles, they used to be, they developed and diversified and survived even in the new atmosphere. But most of them survived as subsidiaries of larger companies. And that took time for the mindset to change your equipment, etc. And they were supported in that. And therefore, our shift was painless. And therefore, our growth, as someone said in the previous program of yours, was the growth that we started with Vajpayee, with Dr. Manmohan Singh in 1993, continued almost unbroken till 2012.
Right. But, what would you say to those people who said that Mr. Manmohan Singh, Dr. Manmohan Singh was Manmohan Singh? He's labeled as that quiet prime minister, the silent prime minister. What would you really say to that gang of people, or, to that group of people who labeled Prime Minister Manmohan Singh in this manner? And of course, some would say that, this is not a day to discuss that. But then the point is that, the silent prime minister, whoever called him, has died with such a loud legacy. And shouldn't we be talking about the fact that people have been unfair to Prime Minister Manmohan Singh and too many people.
Um, all I can say is, thank God he was a silent prime minister, because empty vessels make a lot of noise. And the drum is the classic example. It's totally empty, otherwise it's not a drum at all. And forgive me, Mr. Modi, if in case you ever come across this program, but you are an empty vessel. You have no ideas of your own. You pick up ideas from the people around you. Some of them are good, some of them are very bad indeed. And by and large, the overall impact has been a derogation of Indian democracy to the point where it's almost disappearing now. So I think that this is something that I would, if I were an advisor to Prime Minister Modi, I would say, use the death of Prime Minister Manmohan Singh to think and rethink the strategy that you have adopted in your prime ministership. But I don't expect him to do that, because there are other psychological factors here. And I think that is the most important thing that I would learn from Prime Minister Modi's, tenure in office. Apart from that, really, there isn't really much more to say about Modi. There is really no comparison between the two. I think that there's not much one can learn,
Right.
that Modi can learn from Dr. Manmohan Singh, because it's not in his personality to keep quiet and to try and build consensuses around him, and then not speak, let the decision speak for itself. That's what Manmohan Singh did.
But
and that's why
Mr.
we are praising you
Right.
today.
Right. I was looking at a lot of clips of Prime Minister Modi, what all he said about Manmohan Singh today on the Twitter, which is now X, of course. Then there were lots of clips of Nirmala Sitaraman, who was a finance minister, and one of the clips which is going quite viral, where she's saying, "I don't want to be. Thank God I'm not Manmohan Singh. I cannot be Manmohan Singh." And that clip is quite viral today. And people are questioning that, look, this is how shameless you could get. And this is how, the reactions on the social media are coming. Do you think that now there could be an effort by the BJP leaders to get those clips weeded out of the YouTube, so that, the future generations don't see them as critics of Prime Minister Manmohan Singh?
They may well do so. Frankly, I don't watch this kind of. I certainly don't go on X at all. I don't even have it. I don't want to. I just don't have the time to be reading what others are saying endlessly, because I want to write myself. I need time for my own thoughts, not other people's thoughts. And but the thing is that I don't think these what I might call the hyper short media, as distinct from your media and the YouTube channel medias, that they have any lasting effect at all. They are just babble. It's a sort of a babble of noise in the background, and some people are comfortable with babble, but others are not. And decision makers usually are not comfortable with babble. They don't listen to this stuff. And I don't think we should take anything on X or even Facebook, which is the least babbling of the web, or the babblers. Take it seriously.
Right. Okay, so Mr. Jha, I'll conclude the program with your last thoughts on Manmohan Singh. What is the kind of void which he has left in India and across the world? And what would you like to say towards the end? Yes.
I think I would like to say only one thing. One thing only. I've never met in my life, I've known him pretty much the whole of my life, a kinder, more considerate man than he. He was that before he was the Prime Minister. He was that after he became Prime Minister. And he was that after he left the Prime Ministership. He didn't change at all. And I want to give you one more anecdote, personal anecdote about him to tell you what I think. Sometime, it was when he was finance minister, because I was writing strongly in favor of the liberalization. I saw quite a lot of him, and I think on the first or second time that I met him, he said to me, he asked me how my father was, and I told him that I'm afraid He's well, still at only 1993, and my father died 5 years later. He said, "Well, I remember him very well, And then I said, but how? Why? I wondered, why is he telling me this in such a personal way?" Then he said, "I haven't forgotten the tea you invited me to at Oxford to meet him when he came there." Now the thing is, I must tell you, my father had been a senior civil servant in the Foreign Service, and he was coming back from something at the United Nations, the Security Council, and he had just stopped in England to see me, and he was coming to Oxford, so I had asked three people. Manmohan was one of them. I had forgotten, but he had not forgotten. That's the difference. That's the difference. He was a man who never lost his humility.
Absolutely.
And therefore, never lost his sense of proportion about the decisions he was making. He concentrated on the main decisions. And when he couldn't get everything he wanted through, for example, I gave the example of the state financing, which he very strongly believed in. He wouldn't make that an issue. He'd go on to what could be done.
Absolutely. Fond memories there of Dr. Manmohan Singh, but truly, what a man and what a scintillating journey as a Prime Minister. 10 years of golden period, which he gave to the country, and now he's no more. But of course, India can never have another Dr. Manmohan Singh, surely. Thank you so much, Mr. Jha. It was wonderful to have you on the program. Thank you. Thank you
I
so
hope
much.
not. That was your last remark. India needs another Manmohan Singh, and very quickly.
Okay. So I'll end up with your quote that India needs another Dr. Manmohan Singh. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Stay ahead with our cutting edge news app. Instantly access the latest shorts in just 1 minute and breaking news in just 50 words. Download now for a smarter, faster news experience.